Hi, I'm Daniel Mullen, and you're watching Purebred Reds, Adelaide United Fan TV.
Adelaide City coach Damien Morey is hoping for a second-round tie against Adelaide United after dumping Western Sydney out of the FFA Cup. 18-year-old student Thomas Love put the Wanderers to the sword with a stunning solo run and finish, and says he can't believe it happened.
Passing on a few tips to the up-and-comers at St Andrew's School at Walkerville, Thomas Love is still on cloud nine after an amazing night at Maiden. A-League giants Western Sydney pelted City for more than an hour.
In the second half, I think they were all over us. We were running around like headless chooks.
But then, Love struck.
I'd sometimes go for a run as I did last night, but I'd usually try to pass it off to someone else because I'm not really the best finisher, but I thought I've come this far, I might as well have a crack. I was in shock that I actually went in. That feeling was just, I don't think I've ever felt that before. Just celebrating with like good mates. It's unbelievable.
I think I was celebrating and running down to the boys, but never ever done that before, but it was just an unbelievable feeling.
Morey now keen for a long overdue Adelaide derby against the Reds.
Probably get a sellout, I think. I think it'd just be a really good event for the state.
But his players have other ideas ahead of next week's draw.
I think we'd all like to be taking on an away team so we could go so we could travel away and have a weekend away or something.
Kim Dillon.
G'day guys, and welcome to the Purebred Reds, Adelaide United Fan TV. I'm your host Ellis Gelios. We're in the studio today to preview our round 19 game against the Central Coast Mariners on Friday evening at Cooper Stadium, and I'm joined by, certainly in terms of Adelaide United, a blast from the past, but how could you ever forget him? Tom Love.
Ellis,
how you doing?
Good mate, nice to be here.
Yeah, great to have you in. Now Tom, everyone remembers you for obvious reasons from back in the first ever instalment of the FFA Cup, which we're going to talk about at length later on in the interview, but since then you've gone on to play for our youth team in 2015, and then since then you've returned to Adelaide City, where you are presently. Tell us how that's going first of all.
Yeah, it's really good, man. Adelaide City have a really good group of boys. I think last couple of years hasn't been as bright as we'd like it to be, but it's been really good, man. Looking up, things are definitely looking up. I think the group of boys that we had this year, I think should definitely be doing a lot better. But yeah, no, it's really good to be a part of it.
The last people might remember of you in a City shirt in terms of Adelaide United fans, you weren't as much of a senior figure. You are now, compared to a lot of the young players running around in City strips. What's it like now, with all these years having passed, being more of a mentor when certainly the last that some people might remember of you was you were sort of in those shoes of being mentored. What's it like to be on the other side of that now?
Oh, it's definitely a completely different feeling. It doesn't feel like that many years have passed since all of that happened, really. But it's nice to be involved in the group where we've got quite a lot of young boys as well, and even just trying to mentor those young boys. It's definitely something that special to be a part of. I definitely enjoy it as well. I think because we've got such a good group of young boys, it's like it's really encouraging for them to try and push for spots as well, and even to try and make us even work better and harder to try and keep our spots. But it's definitely very good to be a part of.
Absolutely, and Adelaide City probably with as many young players running around as any top club these days. It's fantastic to see that the youth in South Australia continues to not be overlooked, which obviously is on show at Adelaide United as well. Tom, we're going to get into previewing the game. Just a few things before we do. It is 7 o'clock kick-off this Friday night at home to the Mariners if you're not attending the game. On Valentine's Day, as always, you can watch live on Fox Sports and the Kayo Sports app. At the time of filming, there's no available squads. However, we're keeping our eyes on the likelihood or lack of likelihood with Ryan Strain, George Blackwood, and potentially James Treacy, all possible ins this week, but we don't really know whether any of them will be available. Strain, obviously, with an injury concern coming off after the game against Brisbane Roar. A few interesting little did you knows: the Central Coast Mariners picked up a 2-1 win in their last A-League encounter with Adelaide United, and that game ensured that for the first time after 8 previous attempts that they beat us. So interesting there. That was the first time since 2014 that we've lost to them. We have won 7 of our last A-League games against the Mariners at Cooper Stadium, including a win and a draw in the last 2 meetings there, despite the Reds trailing at half-time on both of those occasions. The Mariners have lost their last 6 A-League games on the bounce away from home, conceding 15 in that period. Adelaide have scored 15 left-footed goals so far in the A-League, 4 more than any other team in the comp, and the Mariners have conceded, if you can believe this, 4 own goals in the A-League this season, which is twice as many as any other team. Only once in the last 8 A-League seasons has any team conceded more in a single campaign. Now, Tom, last time out we lost to Brisbane away on Saturday night. Ben Halloran scored a great goal, put us up 1-0, but we couldn't hold out. What do you think of the game? Obviously wasn't the result we wanted, but certainly not the worst performance, and also Stephen Mork's debut of his second homecoming for Adelaide United as well, to mark the encounter. Yeah, obviously not the ideal result, but probably not the easiest place to go, especially with a team in form under Robbie Fowler at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's definitely a couple of positives to look at. I think Stephen Mork being back at Adelaide is obviously a positive. I think it's good to have those like Adelaide grown boys come back to the club, and I think with time he'll do a lot better. Like he'll certainly make himself worthwhile for the club. I think, yeah, having those Adelaide grown boys is definitely a positive, especially with the Mohamed Toure as well. I think that's the same thing. Adelaide boys playing for the club. So I know there's a lot of the boys out there, even in the starting 11 now, Adelaide homegrown. So it's definitely positive to take out of it. But yeah, exactly as you said.
So going on to Mohamed Toure, he's the younger brother of Al Hassan. Phenomenal to see both these brothers break out in the space of like a couple months. But anyway, Tommy, he was in the same position as you, having sort of been thrust into the limelight instantaneously after such an explosive debut on the national stage. From your past experiences, how does such a young player remain grounded and humble from this point on in their careers?
Well, I think he's obviously like a lot bigger scale than I was, but
not necessarily.
But I think those boys seem to be very.
He's also probably a few years younger than you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Making your debut at 15 is incredible. I think that's really impressive. Yeah. But I think those boys seem to be very humble, and I think they'll do very well, both of them. I think the skill that they've both shown, and like the drive and determination to even play first team football at 15 is like incredible. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll do very well for themselves.
As I've mentioned, we are going to touch on that fantastic moment where you introduce yourself to football in Australia. But
from the past.
Yeah, but what I want to ask is, it's similar in the way that Mohamed Toure came on in this game against Brisbane on Saturday night, and he just started doing things that, I swear, if people know who you are and there's that regular pressure from supporters, and you have to play your part, and don't overplay in critical moments. He's just taken it. He's done like 2 skill moves to beat significantly bigger and older and more experienced Brisbane Roar players. Yeah. Is there something about coming on when you've got everything to prove, where the shackles are just completely unhinged? I mean, what is it?
I think for sure. I think when there's nothing expected of you, and it's basically just you completely in that mindset, it's like, you just basically give it all or nothing. Like I was using that as an example. Like when we were versing the Wanderers, like we're obviously not expected to do anything, so everyone's just like, all right, we'll give it our all. If we lose, we lose. But then like you just basically give it everything, and that's obviously what this boy's done. It's done very well. It's basically just like completely focus on this one thing and just give it everything.
Yeah, well said, mate. So we'll move along. So after a promising opening start to their season, the Mariners suddenly find themselves on the end of 4 consecutive defeats. Now, how often have you come across teams throughout your career who have been in poor form but really looking to stop the rot? And how dangerous is it when you can suddenly underestimate that desire for them to come and win?
Oh, it's definitely like one of the most dangerous things ever. Like if you go into a game expecting to win, expecting to, this team's not very good, you think you're going to roll over them, it's like one of the most dangerous positions to be in, because that's just one slight slip of the head and like you're in like a lot of trouble. I think it's to underestimate teams is really, I think last year was probably a good sign for us, because I think we were as it being Adelaide City, you're kind of just underestimating a lot of other teams, and then we just didn't come away with performance, come away with results, and even performances. I think it's very.
Is there a particular one you can think of where you just thought, wow, clearly we had this marked down as 3 points in what we deemed to be realistic for us?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even the start of the year, we were 3-0 up against Blue Eagles, and then at the half time, and then by the end of the game, we ended up drawing. And we were playing some really good football as well. I think at half time you just kind of go into that mentality, because
they've just been promoted.
Yeah, it's like we're really good here. We don't have to worry about anything. And then flick of the hat, it comes 3-0 at full time. We're just what happened? It's just I think it's underestimating someone is just very dangerous.
Very interesting, and if you want some historical context, you can go back to season 2008-09. We were 3-0 up at home to the Mariners, and it ended up drawing 3-0 in that season.
Oh, there you go.
I'm sure you were quite young back then,
yeah,
mate. Anyhow, we'll move on to the article that came out in the Advertiser this week, highlighting how our crowds have dropped to their lowest ever attendance figures in the history of Adelaide United this season. Now, you've played at Coopers, Tommy, and obviously we've heard out of Adelaide City in more recent times how support for home games has dropped off a little bit, and how this can significantly impact the morale of the team when you don't have as many supporters at your home ground as what you'd like, particularly when you've been in a losing rut. From your point of view, is the Coopers Stadium home support one of Adelaide United's biggest assets as a club?
Yeah, I think you see it all over Facebook as well. I think the Red Army is a big part of them going to the games is a lot of the team mentality is built around that as well, I think. I feel that them attending games regularly and cheering on the boys is a lot of it makes a big impact of it. I think you see a lot of players saying, be awesome if, obviously everyone says come out to the games and that, but it seems like that's a massive part about the actual culture of the club as well.
Yeah, no question about that at all, mate. Now, before we get into your biographical interview, I just want to ask you for your prediction Friday on Valentine's Day. I'm sure you might be doing something else, but what's the result going to be? Are we getting up, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're probably going to get up. I think they're probably going to. I think they're looking pretty promising at the moment. I think just a few little things to turn around, but I think they'll probably get up.
A goal scorer.
A goal scorer.
Yeah.
Probably Riley.
Riley.
A bit of a beast.
Pretty hard to go against seeing Riley get on the end of a goal for Adelaide United, particularly at this current time. That brings us to the end of our match preview against the Mariners. We're going to jump into learning more about the man behind the player, Mr. Tom Love. So you played at Adelaide City for the majority of your junior sort of tenure, minus a 3-year stint at Campbelltown. However, you then went back to Adelaide City and you came into the senior setup at quite a young age under the legend Damien Murray.
Yeah, that's it.
You're very fond of him. He sort of really gave you your start.
That's it.
What was it like coming through under Damien?
I think Damien's probably the main third person I have to thank for the player that I am today. I think he kind of took a lot, or saw a lot in me, and kind of pushed to get the most out of me as well, which was which got me up into senior football, just being a mongrel and fighting in the midfield. So I think him being as my coach got the best out of me, which was awesome coming up under him, because not every day you get to have Australia's greatest goal scorer as your coach, especially when you're 16 years old. So it's definitely something that improves you as a player and wants you to push harder, and you've definitely push for more.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we press along, I just want to quickly make sure we iron something out. So, what are you exactly as a player? So if I was going to sign you on FIFA, you probably come in this category of just having the CM put under your name. What exactly defines you as a player? You're obviously a central midfielder, but we know these days, particularly with 4-3-3s, that could mean any kind of midfielder.
Yeah. So
how do you define yourself?
I've definitely been playing a more attacking role recently, probably the past year or so. even I play myself on the wing as well, maybe even striker, but I'm not very. I mean, you won't get much out of me there, but definitely like I definitely like trying to make forward runs and then even trying to like even win the ball back in the middle. But yeah, definitely somewhere around the midfields where you get the best out of me.
Okay, pretty much explains it.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it, mate. We're not going to beat around the bush at all. There's no doubt your most famous moment, that incredible solo run against the Western Sydney Wanderers all the way back in 2014 in round 32 of the FFA Cup, the first ever FFA Cup cup set, if you like. For context, people might not remember that Western Sydney had just literally won the Asian Champions League.
That's it.
The only ever Australian club to do that, a heroic achievement in itself. Now, he's a young, relatively unknown St. Peter's boy who's just got on the ball in the second half. You could have, it's a tight stalemate. You're up against the recently crowned Kings of Asia. You could have turned around and played a safe pass backwards. Or just tried to hold the play up in any way that you could, knowing you're up against the powerhouse team on the break, but instead you just basically got on the ball, and I think to say that you took your moment would be an understatement.
Yeah.
Why don't you just talk us through it?
I think it's a pretty surreal feeling. I think I keep every year that goes past, I get the old like Facebook notification saying like in your memories this happened like 4 or 5 years ago today. I'm like, man, that's time flies. But like, yeah, it's pretty unreal even just to think about like that happening. Even though it was quite a long time ago, it's still pretty unreal just to watch the video. It's pretty crazy to even think that happened. But yeah, it's probably one of the most crazy experiences I've definitely been a part of in soccer as well. Even beating a team such as that was crazy experience.
I think it almost has like a Bradbury kind of feel to it, Stephen, because like as soon as you got on the ball, I think 2 Wanderers players just lunged for you. One of them might have slipped over, and then everyone was suddenly out of position, and everything just opened straight up for you, and you just danced through the defence.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moments where it's like the teams are underestimated, or not underestimated, but even just thinking, we'll beat these guys, don't worry about it. And then something happens like that, and it's just like, oh shit.
And then it's you versus Ante Kovic.
Yeah.
The guy's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
One of the most intense guys I've ever seen. What was going through your mind then? Because I recall you saying in interviews like you were thinking about, in another situation you'd be trying to square this one or passing it off in some way, but you just went, nah, screw this.
Oh, well, to be honest, kind of like the 20-30 metres that I'd gone kind of just like flew past. Like before I knew I was kind of in front of the keeper, so I was like, I'll kick it, and then somehow went to his leg. So like, yeah, it doesn't happen very often that you get into that scenario, but yeah, it's pretty incredible. Are
you thinking of what you want to do next in this? Is it like a blur or what's it like?
Honestly, I think it just like from me getting from the halfway line to the penalty box was just like, if you watch the video not long ago, it's literally just like. I basically just went straight through the middle. So it was like literally like 10-15 seconds of just like, I don't even know what's just happened. I just found myself in front of the keeper. It was pretty crazy.
Incredible. You guys held on, and the first ever giant killing in the FFA Cup, and for me still the greatest one because people talk about maybe Redlands United beating Adelaide United when Adelaide United had just won the championship, but to literally beat a team as part-timers that had just won the Asian Champions League, that's like going from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Us Asian champions.
Yeah. People were literally kind of smearing around those undertones. What was the next day of school like?
I can't remember. Was that a Wednesday? Was it like a Wednesday or Friday night?
It was Wednesday.
Wednesday. I reckon I had the day off school the next day. I don't reckon I went to school.
Beautiful. I don't think anyone would blame you for not turning up. It won you many plaudits without question. However, most significantly, it caught the attention of then United manager Josip Gombauer, who awarded you with a place in the youth team, basically following that FFA Cup stint with Adelaide City. Now, you then played out the 2015 NPL State 1 season, the first season we've ever had as a club in the NPL, alongside a list of very talented players. Still, in my opinion, the strongest NPL team we've ever had, and it's just a shame that we had to start in the State League because to see how that team would go in the NPL today, when you see the really young NPL teams of today for Adelaide United actually doing quite well and standing up for themselves in the NPL, to see an actual list of really talented players really playing at a time when they were hitting their straps for Adelaide United's youth in the NPL today would be very interesting. But you played out that season. It was in State 1. We won the State 1 title that year in fairly emphatic circumstances, if I remember correctly. The last round?
Yeah, I think it was the last round. We just finished our game and we were crowded around with someone on their phone looking at the results from the other game, and everyone just started losing it. When
classic NPL. Peak NPL.
Yeah, that's it.
Now you had Michael Backanis, club legend, as your coach. Speak very highly off camera of Michael. What was he like as a mentor in this one season you had?
Yeah, Mickey was like the same kind of figure as like Damien was to me. I think there's both the same. They both like push you, although sometimes they might get upset with you, then that pushing you to get the most out of you was like they're like the best aspect of them being a coach. I think they almost always get the most out of you, and if they believed in you, it was like a really positive thing. It was like a really enjoyable thing to be part of. But yeah, Mickey was very good.
Awesome stuff. Now I think I'm sort of in the right to assume that your most memorable moment playing for Adelaide United in any capacity was the involvement of being on the bench against Liverpool in that historic friendly at Adelaide Oval. I guess people just want to know what it was like. I mean, you're literally, you can live out the rest of your life being able to drop that in any conversation anywhere you go. I played against Liverpool.
I mean, didn't actually come on the pitch, but like
doesn't matter, mate.
Yeah, even still, even just being on the bench, like
hold it up.
Yeah,
it's your match day kit, name on the back.
Yeah, that's it. So I'll hold on to that for dear life.
Beautiful stuff.
But yeah, no, this even just sitting on the bench, like sitting in front of like 50,000 people, like hearing all of them sing this like same song, like playing against Liverpool. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to think about. Even just being a part of it, like even warming up on the side, listening to like 50,000 people screaming. It's like crazy. It's like it's one of those things that like could not happen very often, but like being a part of it, it felt really special to be a part of.
So what was it like in the build up? I mean, obviously you were training with the first team. Did you get to go to any events that Liverpool were sort of highlighting at all?
No, not particularly. I think it was more just like the couple of U-team boys that were training, like kind of like shitting their pants, being like, "Oh, we're gonna get picked to sit on the bench," and then like the ones that did be like, "Oh, like sweet, like this is gonna be awesome." Yeah. Even just like rocking up to the thing. It's probably like one of the although I obviously wasn't playing or like even just sitting on the bench, it's probably one of the most like nerve-wracking getting in the bus, like going into the thing downstairs. Like this is crazy. Like we're about to play against Liverpool. Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Who do you support in the EPL? Do you have a team?
I used to go for Chelsea, but then like haven't really been following it the last couple of years, so I wouldn't even say I follow it.
Fair enough. No worries, mate. So let's get into the current time. You're at Adelaide City.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm a lot more confident than I was last year.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I think last year we didn't perform up to being Adelaide City. I think coming like third to last wasn't the most.
Obviously, a difficult year for an abundance of reasons, but sure. A fresh page in the club's chapter, I'm sure.
That's it.
Matriciani, the coach, has now had a former Adelaide United player, of course, NSL player with Adelaide United. He's had the year of betting everything in.
Yeah.
You can just start off on a fresh note now.
Yeah, that's how I think.
Everything around the club must feel revitalised.
Yeah, 100%. I think the trainings and the pre-season games that we've had are a lot more positive. I think everyone's kind of like in this position where we know what it's like to not perform up to what everyone's expected of us, and I think this year's going to be a lot more positive. I think we've signed a few more players. Even the young group of boys that we've got is like really, really encouraging. So I think this year it will definitely be a lot more positive, and we should be a lot higher up the table.
What is the goal?
Definitely make top six. Even I think obviously everyone would like to come first, second, but I think top six is definitely our main goal for this year, for sure.
And it's worth noting within Adelaide City's playing stocks at the moment, there's a lot of former Adelaide United connections running around. So if you're going to have a second team in the NPL this year, make it Adelaide City, even though it sounds a bit sort of strange saying that. Now, Tommy, you are a former St. Peter's alumni, coaching St. Andrews. What else are you doing in your spare time these days?
Just that uni lifestyle, you know. Yeah, very crazy.
So what are you studying at uni?
Business property.
Yeah. So what do you want to do with that?
Not actually sure at the moment. I think I've got another year of study to just try and get involved in some different aspects of property. But yeah, just hopefully try and get involved in as much as I can, and then decide by the end of it what I want to do.
You might have Adelaide City FFA Cup hero Tom Love selling your house one day.
Doubtful.
Who knows, mate? Great stuff though. Great to see you still keeping as involved as you can in football as well. Now, it's been great having you in, Tom. We wish you all the very best for the NPL.
Thank you very much for having me on, Ellis. Nice to see you, mate.
Great stuff, Tom. We wish you all the very best in everything, mate. And thanks for coming in. It's been great touching base since those great memories of yesteryear. And we'll see you sometime soon, mate.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers. All the best.
You too.
Thank you.